I'm going to be in transit all day tomorrow, so I won't be doing my usual Friday live. So hence I'm doing one today. I know there have been celebrations all around the Northern Hemisphere for Beltane because the traditional date is the 1st of May. However, the exact date for Beltane, because it is the halfway point between the equinox and the solstice, is actually this Saturday in the UK at midnight, going into Sunday morning. So for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, it's Halloween. So even though people tend to dress up these days for October 31st, Halloween will be exact on your Saturday morning at 9 a.m. in Australia. So you can do, time and date conversions on those. But so what does this mean? Well, this portal is the portal of birth and death. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the rites of springs, it's the birthing time. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's the death time. Now, to just spice it up a bit more, Pluto is currently direct. So going from appearing as if it's moving forwards from our vantage point on Earth to going stationary. And when it's direct, when a planet's direct, and yeah, I still call it a planet because it might be small, but it's potent, not a size queen. So it magnifies its energy. Yeah. So Hades, Lord of the Underworld right now, he is huge. His energy, his influence is huge. And I ended my day yesterday with a migraine. Yeah, took me down. I mean, he's, my master with 5 planets in Scorpio. So those of you that have a lot of Scorpio on your chart, commiserations, it's a really intense birthing or death portal. But it is for everyone. We're all affected by the concept of larger energies. So this is bringing up the shadow. That's what Pluto does. It brings up what we can't see but has a huge influence. So if that's in how you birth projects, for me, I realized, my story of origin was that as a child, I felt overwhelmed with over responsibility because I looked at my parents and went, I don't think they're really, got it together. So I'm going to have to compensate and do more and grow up fast. And so the way that I tend to I create that same story for myself and wear myself out, and it's not pretty. Similarly, it just, if you're going through the throes of death, i.e., surrender, releasing and acknowledging you have no control over anything. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, how do you do death? Yeah, do you try to keep everything together and hold it together? And even when the ground is, cracking up beneath you, what does it take for you to let go and let God? So this is the gift of Pluto. Yeah. So yeah, it's and when we have a big Pluto influence, the shadow is shown to us in the hologram that we're in ways that are probably confronting, uncomfortable, people reflecting back your shadow. So our challenge is not to scapegoat them, not to see ourselves as superior and righteous and, point out the shadow on others, but to flip that mirror around and go, okay, where is that a part of me and how am I in denial about that? How am I not acknowledging and integrating that is me? Because, we all have equal spectrum, light and dark. There's a potential Mother Teresa or a Hitler in all of us, given the right circumstances. So, this portal, and it's a 3-day portal. All of the seasonal vortices are a 3-day heightened sort of, what do you call them? Centrifugal forces of transformation. So if you do any trance invoking practices during this time, you're going to bring through a lot of, important information and make big, deep shifts within the subconscious. So that's breath work, that's dance, that's chanting, any of the active or ergotropic meditation practices that raise the Shakti, raise the Kundalini, which is the goddess energy. Oh, I want to say something about that. Do I dare? Well, these days, a lot of people are saying, the way to raise your Shakti is plant medicines. I have a problem with that because the divas, the plant divas, we can get lost in illusion. Yeah, dancing with a diva. It's not the true feminine, okay? It's why we're told not to eat and drink with the fairies, because you can lose hundreds of years if you're spending more time between the worlds in the dimensions. And so, Beltane Sawain is a time when the dimensions are thin, just like sunrise and sunset, a great time for ceremony, for meditation, for sacred devotional practices. But we need to be careful not to be seduced by the glamour of, oh, wow, great visions, and having the peak experience, which, if we're always out of our mind, we don't have the opportunity to integrate it. So do spend time in nature, do spend time being held in the lap of the mother, Gaia, Mother Earth. We don't need all of the, what would you say, all the divas. These are entities. If we invite these entities into our psyche, then we are not actually sovereign. Our mind is not our own. We are under the influence. And once they're in, they're in. Yeah? So be mindful about, this Western idea that we heal by taking a pill, by taking a medicine, that we need something from outside of ourselves. This is not the truth. All the medicine is within us. Kundalini is within us. This is the theme of my show. I suppose you could call it Kundalini the musical, yantra, but it's about understanding how organically we raise Kundalini. And when we do that consciously, we can integrate it. So, getting back to Beltane, or Beltane as it's correctly pronounced, I learnt when I was in Ireland. It literally means spring in Gaelic. So it's a celebration of spring. It's a celebration of life returning, of hope returning. This is the time when the Earth Mother was said to have her new green dress on. And it's a time of welcoming fertility. So the maypole was the phallus of the Divine Father being plunged into the fecundity of the Earth Mother to promote the birthing of Eden, because you can't create Eden without the input of feminine and masculine. Yeah, those two energies, which are within the world soul and as microcosms of the macrocosm, are within us all. So, this is a time of coming together, yeah, of communion, whether that's with your community, yeah, dancing in a spirit of love and light with brothers and sisters, If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, this is a time, All Hallows Eve, as it was renamed, but Samhain, which is the time when we confront our greatest fears. Okay, we look at the shadow willingly. And the ones who help us with that are the ancestors. This is why traditionally we would set a place for them at the table and cook their favorite dishes, because we welcome them in with the aromatic flavors of their favorite dishes, because they can smell even though they can't eat in the spirit world with us in the density of 3D. So, this would be a time when you would dress up as your alter ego, your shadow, the part of you that perhaps you don't want the world to see and don't want to know about you, but yeah, it's a part of you. So, I think this is where the whole idea of trick or treat came from. I know when I took my daughter out for, Halloween, I would take the opportunity to own my shadow. So one year I dressed up as Death Warmed Up because I was burnt out as a sole parent. So yeah, have a bit of fun with owning your shadow, those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, And yeah, acknowledging what your fears are consciously so they don't have so much power over you subconsciously. So, blessings on your Beltane. This is a time, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, to birth a new set of circumstances, a new chapter. Okay, it's a fertile time to do it. The universe is with you, saying, yes, now is the time. This is divine timing. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, this is a time to acknowledge what you've outgrown and to grieve that perhaps it can't fulfill the potential that you'd hoped it would, or to bow to what it's taught you so that you can find grace in your grief. So I hope those words are a healing balm for you. And yeah, I'll be back the following Friday with my weekly Thank Goddess. It's Friday live video. And I'm also excited. I've got a big piece of news. The first, I can't even say this with a straight face, debut single from my new album. Uh, it's the stage show Yantra, which is the ascension of Venus from the underworld. And it's premiering at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, August 2 through to August 10, over the Lionsgate Stargate. And so the first single from the album, Light of Venus, which is in the show sung by Ishtar, who governs the crown chakra, who is the archetype of the Tantrika, the Yogini, the High Priestess, the Magdalene. And it will be out on May 8. So if you would like to receive that song in your Spotify, I'll put a link in the description. And yeah, I hope you like it. And I'll be releasing a song over the next few weeks, and then I'll drop the whole album, not on the floor, but just using Snoop Dogg speak there. Can't say this with a straight face. Oh, my debut album at 53. You just can't take it seriously. So I hope you enjoy it, and look forward to, yeah, hearing if you dig it. Have a beautiful Beltane weekend or Samhain weekend, and thanks so much for tuning in. You have my blessing to share this. Ciao for now.